Warning: this video contains brief depictions of historical violence associated with the persecution. Viewer discretion is advised. Japan, land of the samurai, of geishas, and stunning temples. But hidden within the pages of its history lies a dark chapter of brutal persecution, a time when the sword of the shogunate fell upon those who dared to follow the cross. It was during the Edo period, an era spanning the 17th to the 19th centuries. Japan, once open to the West, turned inward, fearing foreign influence and the spread of Christianity. The mighty shogun saw its followers not as converts, but as a threat to their power. What started as suspicion soon escalated into a campaign of terror. Today, we delve into the chilling story of why the shogunate persecuted Christians in Japan. Now you might ask, why the fuss over a foreign religion in a land of Zen and Shinto gods? It wasn't just a clash of beliefs, it was a fight for Japan's very identity, a struggle that had been simmering for decades. See, Christianity didn't appear overnight. It landed in 1549 with Portuguese traders and Jesuit missionaries like Francis Xavier. Initially, some powerful warlords or daimyo saw advantages. Trade with Europeans meant guns and wealth, a leg up in Japan's constant civil wars. Some daimyo even genuinely converted, intrigued by this new faith. This made the shoguns uneasy, especially the calculating Tokugawas, who seized power in the early 1600s. They saw Christianity spreading like wildfire, whole villages pledging loyalty to a foreign god-emperor. This threatened the very basis of their power, the idea that the shogun ruled with divine right. To make matters worse, this was the age of European colonialism. Spain had conquered the Philippines, a mere sail away from Japan. The shoguns feared their country could be next, and that Christianity would pave the way for invasion. They weren't entirely wrong. Look at how European powers used religion to subjugate entire continents. So the Tokugawas reacted. At first, just restrictions on missionaries, hoping to contain the problem. But when that failed, the gloves came off. In 1614, Christianity was officially banned. Missionaries were expelled or executed, and Japanese converts faced a horrific ultimatum: renounce your faith or prepare for the unimaginable. Yet to the shogun's surprise and mounting fury, many held firm, forcing a brutal escalation. The Edict of 1614 was meant to be decisive, a death sentence for Christianity in Japan. But this was not merely a theological disagreement. The shogunate was battling for its very survival, at least as they saw it. Let's explore why they felt compelled to resort to such horrific lengths. The torture methods chosen were not random. Each was designed to break both the body and the spirit. Crucifixion carried layers of symbolism, echoing the fate of Christ, yes, but also historically a punishment for the lowest criminals and rebels. It declared that Christians were enemies of the state. The pit torture, suspending victims over excrement, combined relentless pain with the humiliation of being defiled, a fate worse than death in a society obsessed with purity. The persecution wasn't about equality. In Japan's rigid hierarchy, your birth determined everything. Yet the Christian message of all souls being equal before God was dangerously disruptive. This is why even powerful nobles were not spared. Daimyo, samurai, rich merchants, their wealth and status meant nothing when it came to defying the shogun's will. Their suffering was a message to everyone: submit, or this could be your fate. The Shimabara rebellion of 1637-38 was a bloody testament to the depth of both religious fervor and utter desperation. Peasants, dispossessed ronin, united by their faith and their grinding poverty, dared to challenge the might of the shogunate. Their inevitable defeat and the sheer brutality of the reprisals drove the point home: resistance was futile. But still, Christianity wouldn't die. Desperate to regain control, the shogunate turned the entire country into a surveillance state. Family members were expected to report on one another, and the practice of fumii, trampling on images of Christ, became a horrific tool of both detection and humiliation. This led not to extinction but evolution. The hidden Christians, or kakure kirishitan, became masters of disguise. Outwardly, they lived as Buddhists or Shinto followers. But in the privacy of their homes or in close-knit communities, their faith survived. Prayers adapted into chants that sounded like folk songs. Images of Mary were disguised within traditional statues. Their rituals, imperfect through generations of secrecy, became nonetheless a lifeline in a world determined to crush them. It's a humbling reminder that belief, even under the harshest pressure, can find a way to endure. The persecution continued for centuries. It took until the late 1800s for Japan to reopen its doors and allow religious freedom. The scars of this dark chapter remain, a powerful reminder of the dangers of extremism and the enduring strength of faith. Now I want to leave you with some questions. In a world torn by conflict, how far do we go to preserve our beliefs? And what price are we willing to pay to protect what makes us, us? Don't forget, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments what other dark corners of history you want me to illuminate.